Sorry about that. Hi, everyone. Thank you for this opportunity to present our work on the learning experiences of students and preceptors in the dedicated education unit. I am Dr. Naomi Congello, and I'm an assistant professor at California State University, Channel Islands, located about 1 hour outside the city of Los Angeles, California.
Hello, sorry. Hello, everyone. My name is Dianne Montano, and I am a senior nursing student. I'm in my third year at Channel Islands as well, and I have been working as a research assistant with Dr. Congello approximately about a year and a half on this study. All right. So there is an increasing demand in healthcare and a growing need for nurses. The projected nursing shortages raises serious concerns about its potential impact on patient care in the future. In the United States alone, there is an estimate of 1.2 million new graduate nurses that will be needed by the end of 2030 to meet the rising demand. As we have a chart illustrated by provider partners' health plans, in California alone, it is projected to experience a significant gap between the supply and demand of nurses, with figures reaching into the tens of thousands. A key issue contributing to this challenge is the shortage of nursing faculty and the limited availability of clinical sites, since both are essential for preparing nursing students for their future roles. The nursing shortage has been an added factor for nursing schools, finding it difficult to recruit and retain qualified faculty. One promising solution is the implementation of the dedicated education unit, which is also known as the DEU. This allows experienced nurse preceptors to serve as teachers at the bedside. So this contradicts to the traditional clinical model where the faculty oversees a group of students. In the DEU clinical model, the nurse preceptor may have 1 to 2 students, eliminating the constant need for faculty presence to supervise students. Instead, the clinical faculty oversees the clinical experience and serves as the clinical coach by providing resources and teaching tools. In the DEU model, not only supports nursing education, but also helps to address staffing challenges by fostering a more robust pipeline of well-trained nurses. The DEU clinical model provides one approach to help mitigate the problem of the growing nursing shortage while effectively preparing students for entry into practice by integrating the DEU into clinical teaching. It provides a clinical approach for an increased teaching capacity while maintaining quality of nursing education among baccalaureate students. Over the years, universities and healthcare organizations have collaborated to form a partnership to help prepare students for clinical practice by allowing staff nurses to step into the preceptor role as the clinical teacher. And then the preceptor replaces the school faculty at the clinical site and helps students to develop skills necessary for the nursing practice. The DEU clinical model originated in the 1990s, starting in Australia. It became a growing phenomenon that extended into other parts of the world, such as New Zealand, Sweden, Belgium, Iran, Jordan, South Korea, and Singapore, as well as other countries in the Western world, including Canada and the United States. And we have them all circled here on the map. Here in the United States, the integration of the DEU model has expanded in several states, including Oregon, Minnesota, New York, New Jersey, Maryland, Texas, and Florida. The first DEU implemented in the United States was in Oregon in 2001 to combat the shortages. So this was to create a plan to double nursing students' enrollment while incorporating contributions and expertise of an aging nurse workforce. In the review of our literature, while studies have examined the experiences of students in the DEU, few of the studies have actually looked at the experiences of both the student and the preceptor.
The aim of our study was to gain insights into the perceived effectiveness of the DEU clinical as a learning experience among students and preceptors. We conducted a cross-sectional observational pilot study in spring 2022 at 2 affiliated hospitals located in Ventura County, Southern California. After receiving IRB approval from the university and letters of support from the hospitals, flyers were distributed describing the purpose of the study, and a link was provided for participants who met eligibility criteria to complete an anonymous online survey. A total of 22 students and 14 preceptors participated in the study. All participants received Amazon gift cards for time taken to complete the surveys. 2 Likert scale surveys with scores ranging from 1 to 5 were used to interview students and preceptors about their learning and teaching experiences. The Student Clinical Learning Culture Survey was used to interview students. The student survey consists of 21 questions categorized into 4 subscales: social inclusion, dissatisfaction, satisfaction, and motivation. For each of the 4 subscales, we have provided a question from the survey. For example, in the social inclusion subscale, one question is, the nurse working with me goes out of his or her way to help me. In the dissatisfaction subscale, this clinical placement is a waste of time. In the satisfaction subscale, one question is, this clinical placement is interesting. And in the motivation subscale, I put effort in what I do in the ward. The second survey is a 17-item support instrument for nurses facilitating the learning of others. This is the preceptor survey composed of 5 subscales. The questions on the survey examines the perceptions of preceptors in the following areas: teamwork, communication, recognition, preceptor preparation, and workload. The teamwork subscale shows how valued preceptors feel and the assistance they receive on the unit. The communication subscale focuses on the skills preceptors feel they have to constructively interact with learners. The recognition subscale identifies how acknowledged preceptors feel for supporting learners. The preceptor preparation subscale looks at how knowledgeable preceptors feel in their teaching. And the final subscale, workload, focuses on whether preceptors feel they have sufficient time to interact and engage with learners. For the student survey and the preceptor survey, frequencies and descriptive statistics were used to explore each individual item and overall subscale scores. Next, mean subscales were calculated to evaluate the clinical learning experiences of the students and preceptors, respectively. For the student survey, relatively high item mean scores were found for student motivation and social inclusion. Student motivation had the highest average subscale score. In looking at the average subscale score, we're looking at the average composite score, where the composite score is a combination of items that measure an underlying concept. So in this case, student motivation had the highest average subscale score. Social inclusion also had a high item mean scores of 4.5 to 4.6, where at least 95% of students agreed or strongly agreed that the nurses told how and why they were doing things, went out of their way to help, helped when they were having trouble, and considered their feelings. For the preceptor survey, preceptor preparation had the highest average subscale score. Preceptor preparation had high item mean scores of 4.5 to 4.7, where at least 93% of preceptors somewhat agreed or strongly agreed they had communication skills to constructively interact with learners, knew how to motivate a learner, and were able to facilitate learning of others. We wanted to gain further insights to our findings, so we did a post hoc test to compare our results with other studies. Comparisons of each subscale were made using a one-sided two-sample t-test. What we found was our results showed subscales for student motivation and social inclusion had high means that were statistically higher when compared to the score distribution of a similar study conducted in the Middle East. Based on our findings, students felt motivated to learn and socially included in the work of the nursing unit, while preceptors reported having preparation necessary to teach the nursing students. Although findings of this study cannot be generalized to other settings based on the small sample size and causal inferences cannot be determined, this study provides a better understanding of student motivation, social inclusion, and preceptor preparation needed for future longitudinal studies to further the effectiveness of DEU clinical teaching and improved patient outcomes.
All right, so in conclusion, the DEU clinical model provides an innovative clinical teaching approach for nursing education through an established academic partnership to meet demands of the increasing nursing shortage. Nurse preceptors and clinical faculty can actually collaborate together to help students prepare for their future as a nurse through ample exposure to patient care and to build the confidence in their skills. Nursing students can have a better learning experience when they feel motivated and feel socially included on the unit, and as well as preceptors being adequately prepared to facilitate their learning. As the DEU continues to expand across the United States, future studies can build on results on this pilot study.
What challenges do
preceptors face in the DEUs? Can you explain to us, please?
Yes. Thank you so much for that question. Some of the challenges preceptors face is having enough time to teach a student while they're taking care of patients. And so that's why one of the questions asked was, do they feel supported? And do they get what they need? Do they get adequate preparation to begin this type of clinical? I hope that answered your question.